one of my members, funniest YouTuber alive, said, "Why do you call me a narcissist on your podcast?"
I'll tell you what. Why don't you tell him while I call you a narcissist? Are you a narcissist? You openly admitted that one episode.
I think somewhat, yeah. I think we all are, though.
We all are, to a degree.
To a degree.
You can't be in this business where you're dealing with high stakes, financial gain, power, prestige, and not be a little bit narcissistic.
Competition. Yeah. Numbers, views. Yeah, I think we're all narcissists.
Who jumps into a mosh pit with no confidence?
Right.
You're in trouble.
I'm probably going to lose, but let me just try it anyway.
Everybody's stepping over you.
Now, listen, I think you have to be delusional to sit there in your bedroom and say, one day, millions of people are going to know who I am, are going to watch what I do and tune in every day. When you have no followers, no fans.
Wait, you say that again? You think you have to be
delusional?
Well, no, I disagree with you. Once upon a time ago, when I first came out to Hollywood, I was 17. Mm-hmm. And this is when I did my first pilot, my first show on CBS, South of Sunset. They interviewed me on Entertainment Tonight. And I still have the VHS tape at my house. And I believed in myself, I wouldn't have made the move at 14 to do stand-up if I didn't. But at one point I said, about 2 years from now, I'm going to be the biggest box office star in the world. Now, it's cringe now because it didn't happen.
I don't think it's cringe.
Well, when I look at it now, I go, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You can still believe it, but maybe I shouldn't have put that on television. Because if it doesn't happen, now look how it looks. Mm. But I still think you have to have that belief.
Yeah.
Because if it did happen, well then...
Well, yeah. When I say delusional, what I mean is, percentage-wise, it's probably not going to happen because 99% of people who try this ultimately fail at it, right?
I don't buy into those numbers because
if you look at everyone who does an open mic, think about the open mics that you've seen over all the decades you've been doing it. How often do you see a guy at an open mic and you just never hear from him again?
That's a lot. But how often do you see people on The Voice who blow, or on American Idol who kill, who never go on to have careers?
There you go.
But at the same time, based on those numbers, I hear you, but also people quit.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. When you look at it overall, out of all the people that try, look, we live in Hollywood, right? Or close to it. How many people get off the bus every day with dreams of making it Hollywood?
And they end up sucking dick in an alley. I made it, Ma!
Listen, man, I remember this. This is when I knew I was in Hollywood. For some reason, I always remember this moment, right? I was in a club, and this dude was like, yo, what's up, man? What up? Yo, you want to grab a drink? And I'm like, I guess the dude was a fan or whatever else. This happens every so often. So I'm like, cool, let's go grab a drink. We get to the bar, and he orders a drink. His man orders a drink. And, I order something. The tab comes, and he wants me to pay for it. Mm. And I was like, and then I realized he doesn't know who I am. He's just hustling me for drinks. Oh. This is a man.
Right.
In Hollywood.
Right.
And I realized that I'm like, wow, I've never, and I remember I grudgingly just paid to just go back to my, to my section. And I'm like, I've never had a man hustle me for a drink until I came to Hollywood. This is how broke motherfuckers are out here. They're hustling other straight men for drinks. I've had women hustle me for drinks. Oh, my friend would like a drink too.
Right.
Yeah. You and I have gone through this a million times. I get it, right? I'm okay with buying a woman a drink, but this is the first time in my life that I bought a man a drink who I didn't know, because motherfuckers is out here broke hustling drinks.
Listen, man, I've had, I don't call them friends, but I've had associates who once upon a time ago lived out here and was in the record game, and whether they made beats or they were an artist themselves, who eventually pack up and move back to where they came from. That is the most deflating thing in the world to me when I hear those stories. Because I don't want to say you gave up, But if your circumstances were such that you, and this is an expensive place to live.
Yeah.
If your circumstances were such that you just couldn't afford to be here, well, then you're not going to go, well, I'll just live out of my car versus I could just move back to Minnesota and live in a crib or whatever. So I get that. But in my mind, when I say to the wheels fall off, I mean to the motherfucking wheels fall off. Because anything else to me feels like you gave up. And you can't judge a person's circumstance. But when I moved out here, and I've been out here since 93, and I just go, to be out here for over 30 years, if I move, that means I lost. And I can't fathom leaving here and going, well, I'm just gonna go over here and get back on my feet, then I'm gonna come back and
Yeah, you're not coming back.
No, I lost, man. I lost.
Well, you know, I remember I moved out to LA in 2008, and I launched Vlad TV out here. But at the time, I was just DJ Vlad, the mixtape DJ,
Right.
and I realized I'm wasting time and money. No one knows who I am. I'm not getting in these circles. People are wasting my time.
Right.
People are making meetings with me. They're canceling last minute. You know, people like Felly Fell.
Yeah.
You know, people like that. You know, now look where we are. Me and him. It is what it is. But it's like, it's a weird situation because there's giving up and there's also the realization that maybe you can't function on this level that you thought you could function on. And maybe you're just better at something else. There's that, right? Because I remember, look, I was making beats all through college, post-college, whatever else, right? One day I just like, I'm never gonna be Dr. Dre. I'm never gonna be DJ Premier. I'm never gonna be Timberland. Like, I just don't have that in me. I make okay beats, but I'm never gonna be that. And I don't want to be struggling for the next 10 years trying to get a placement here and there. I'd rather find something that I'm really great at. And with me, like DJing, I was great at, as opposed to making beats. And once I got into DJing, I started winning mixtape of the year, mashup of the year, and everything else like that. I'm like, okay, I'm pivoting into something that I'm just better at.
Yeah.
As opposed, now, you could look at it as giving up, but most people give up on a lot of shit by the time they find the one thing they're great at. You're a little bit different, because you kind of knew as a kid.
Yeah.
Most people, though, listen, I went to college, I got a computer science degree, I was a programmer, then I started a recruiting service, then I became a DJ, then I started doing DVDs, and eventually I found Vlad TV, and that's what actually stuck. But it took 10 years
But let
to
me ask
figure
you
it out.
something. And I mean, just total transparency.
Yeah.
If you could have been the next Premier or Dre, was that in your heart, or did you really go, that's not in me, this is what I'm doing, this is my passion, I'm 100% happy with this?
One day, I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, no matter how hard I work, these guys are just so much better at it.
So you had an honest moment with it.
I had an honest moment. I just said, I am not that great musically compared to the people that I'm trying to compete against.
Yeah.
I'm better than all my friends. I'm better than a lot of people around me. But if I want to be at this level, which is a worldwide multi-million-dollar level, I don't have that. I didn't want to be, you know, think about how many great musicians there are that are just playing in, you know, gigs in Vegas or going on tour with some bigger artist and so forth. I mean, your mom was she a session musician as well?
What do you mean a session?
So she had her own albums?
Yeah.
Okay. But was she also singing backup for other singers
No.
and stuff? Okay.
Once upon a time ago, she performed with Lionel Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But think about how many phenomenal singers there are that are just backup singers for commercially viable artists. Like, you know, you go to Alicia Keys' show, her backup singers are dope, but none of them have careers.
Yeah.
You fast forward 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, these are people doing Uber to get by and, you know, still doing gigs here and there. They just don't have those shows, you know, those songs that click. Right. They don't have that fan base that follows them. But they're technically great singers.
Yeah.
Not everyone's meant, you know, sometimes the dots have to connect.
So at the end of the day, you just were honest with yourself.
I was just honest with myself.
Well, then you need to have a conversation with Jennifer Lopez.
Because she's not honest with herself? No, she's lying to herself?
No.
I'm the greatest singer ever. Whitney's lucky she's not alive because I would outsing her in the verses.